The email arrived precisely at noon on July 4th. This year's Independence Day was reserved for close family only. Close family. At 32, I still didn't make the cut. My brother, 2 years my senior, had the ideal spouse, children, and a career everyone envied. And me? The so-called issue, the one they didn't deem worthy of joining the celebration. I glared at the screen, a mix of shock and simmering anger rising within me. I reread her message, sipping the chilled latte I'd grabbed from my apartment in central Seattle. We know you're tied up with your projects, but we hope you'll understand. Understand? Oh, I understood all too well. For years, I'd been ignored, the reserved one, the kid obsessed with tech who never chased glamorous destinations. Meanwhile, my brother Nathan basked in all the attention. The perfect household, the stellar profession, the family's shining star. I knew exactly where they were gathering. Cascade Ridge Lodge, a pristine lakeside haven with cabins so flawless they could grace a magazine spread. A retreat for family only, and me, left out. I typed a brief response, enjoy your Independence Day, no fuss, no blame, just acceptance. Almost as if I was granting them exactly what they desired, a celebration without me. I smirked, sipping my latte, tasting the irony. They wanted space. I was about to give it to them on my own terms. By mid-afternoon, my phone vibrated. Nathan had already begun sharing photos online. There was my mother, impeccable as always, posing in the lodge's grand hall, my father raising a glass of sparkling cider, Nathan and his wife standing by the towering stone fireplace. The captions oozed perfection. A dream Independence Day escape. Meanwhile, I sat in my office, gazing at the city skyline. To the world, I was Alex Rivers, 32, founder of Verdant Retreats, a collection of eco-friendly boutique hotels I'd crafted from the ground up, transforming rundown properties into vibrant, sustainable sanctuaries. To them, I was still Alexi, the quiet kid who fiddled with computers. I phoned my assistant, Liam. Pull up the Rivers family booking at Cascade Ridge. The presidential cabin, correct? Liam paused. It's fully booked, sir. Perfect, I said, hiding a smile. We'll reassign them. Within minutes, Nathan was in a panic. Alex, what's happening? They're moving us out of our cabin. Booking mistake, I replied, cool as ever. You'll be in the Lakeview cabins instead. Still lovely, but standard. The irony was almost too delicious. My family had sidelined me for being average. Now they were about to feel what it was like to be treated as regular guests, not the elite, exclusive clan they thought they were. The calls and texts poured in. Mom was frazzled. Dad grumbled about legal action. Nathan's wife sounded on the verge of tears from frustration. And me? I observed it all from the rooftop deck of my flagship hotel, where guests savored artisanal drinks and admired the restored woodland I'd preserved. Alex, this is absurd, Nathan groaned over the phone. We paid for the presidential cabin. Booking error, I repeated, voice steady. You'll be moved to the Lakeview cabins tonight. He went silent. Lakeview cabins, that's basic. We wanted exclusivity, Alex. This whole trip was planned around it. A faint smile crossed my face. For years, they'd brushed me off, assumed I wasn't accomplished enough, excluded me from their gatherings. Now they were getting a dose of the very thing they thought they deserved. Humility. The messages kept coming. Mom, this is outrageous. Speak to the manager. Dad, we'll need legal advice if this isn't fixed immediately. Nathan's wife. Our perfect Independence Day is ruined. I didn't step in. I just watched, a silent spectator. For the first time, my family was learning what it felt like to be treated as ordinary, to have the exclusivity they cherished stripped away. By evening, the chaos had hit a peak. Nathan was pacing, phone pressed to his ear. Mom's voice was taut with anxiety. Dad's frustration pulsed through every text. And me. I leaned against the balcony railing of my top-floor office, watching the city lights dance across the river, reflecting on all the years I'd been dismissed. Nathan called again, his voice dripping with exasperation. Alex, what's going on? Why are they moving us? We paid for everything. I let a pause linger long enough to unsettle him. Lesson, I said softly. Sometimes people need to feel exclusion to grasp inclusion. He gave a nervous chuckle. Exclusion. Over a cabin? Come on, this is ridiculous. The irony wasn't lost on me. My family had spent years judging me, assuming I fell short, leaving me out of their festivities, belittling my achievements. Now they were feeling the sting of being treated as ordinary instead of exceptional. In that moment, I realized the strength of subtle influence. How the world could shift with one phone call, one decision, when someone had quietly built the power to shape it. Later that night, my mother called, her voice shaky. Alex, we didn't see things clearly. We made an error. I waited, letting her words sink in. Error? I asked, calm and composed. Yes, leaving you out, we didn't realize, her pause said everything. By the time they settled into the Lakeview cabins, the kids were giggling, exploring the eco-conscious activities I'd designed, savoring fresh, locally sourced dinners, and admiring the sustainable lodges. Nathan's wife brushed away tears, not from frustration but from awe at how thoughtful everything was. They'd expected ordinary. Instead, they received care, attention, and comfort beyond their expectations. The truth dawned on them gradually. The person they'd overlooked for years, the ordinary sibling, was the one who'd created the entire experience they were enjoying. I finally stepped out to greet them, calm and collected. "Welcome to your Independence Day," I said. Their eyes widened as the realization hit. I wasn't just part of the family, I was the force behind everything they'd admired. The exclusivity, the comfort, the beauty, it all bore my touch. In that moment, the dynamic shifted. The sidelined sibling was now the one in charge, quietly showing them what it felt like to be underestimated. That night, I strolled the quiet lodge trails, the cabin lights twinkling like stars over the lake. I thought about all the years I'd been dismissed, underestimated, labeled insufficient. Yet in that moment, I understood something vital. My success wasn't about applause. It was about creating something meaningful, something that mattered. My family had learned the worth of humility, inclusion, and perspective. They'd finally felt what it was like to be treated as ordinary, and in doing so, they began to see me for who I truly was. I leaned against the railing, watching the kids play, their laughter carrying across the water. I'd built more than hotels, more than businesses. I'd created experiences, memories, and quiet lessons even my family couldn't ignore. The next morning, I watched them pack up, heading out for another day of activities I'd crafted. I didn't need their approval. They finally understood. Sometimes the best lessons aren't spoken, they're felt. As I stood there, the early sunlight glinting off the lake, I realized this Independence Day had given us all something far more precious than exclusivity or splendor. Perspective, connection, and the quiet strength of being truly seen. As they waved goodbye, I couldn't help but smile. Next year, everyone would be included, and they'd finally know that success takes many shapes. Being underestimated can be the perfect setup for the greatest reveal.